So throughout my career, I've acted for a number of arts sector organisations, and most of those have been based in the Northwest. I started off, my first ever project was with the Royal Northern College of Music, and I've acted for them ever since. That then led to working for the Hallé for their first large project in Ancoats, and then 5 years later for their phase 2, and more latterly the Contact Theatre with their big refurbishment, which finished about 6 months ago.
Like 2016-17, the conversations began that we noticed things around the building that needed updating, and that we were going to go towards a capital project, and we need to raise money and think about what those changes needed to be.
So the first phase was identifying a space. We always had ambitions to develop the site and to add, the St. Peter's space is beautiful, but it didn't have any breakout space, it didn't have smaller spaces, and it wasn't entirely fit for purpose for all of the activities that we do. So our ambitions were always to develop a second part.
Our last sort of major project, which is just about finished now, is a big environmental project. So it's funded by the SALIC scheme, which is a nationwide scheme. It's open to the public sector, and it's part of the public sector decarbonisation scheme. So we were invited as part of the Greater Manchester Consortium to put forward a number of projects for what was then a £78 million bid for the whole of Greater Manchester.
Arts to the Northwest is absolutely massive, both in terms of revenue, but also filling the need. I mean, there are obviously a lot of passionate musicians based in the Northwest, and those working in the arts sector generally. In terms of Mills and Reeve, we have a fairly busy art sector. Our team is possibly quite passionate about what we do, and as a result of that, we've probably got a bit more knowledge than that might otherwise be the case, both in terms of sector knowledge and also obviously our day job being construction lawyers, making sure that the project suits the needs of the clients.
We got a significant amount of funding from the Arts Council, 3.85 million, and the project itself was just over 7 million, so that meant that we obviously needed funding elsewhere. So we got really great support from Manchester City Council, in-kind support from the University of Manchester and Bruntwood, and then really significant funders like Garfield Weston, Welcome Trust, which is the space that I'm in at the moment. So they funded us specifically. They'd done projects with us before and funded shows and things like that we'd put on. So we developed quite a good relationship with them and developed a strand of work essentially that was very much around health and science and research. So we felt that we could go back to them and say, look, we want to develop a space that specifically supports and cultivates that work.
So originally we secured 3.2 million, but because we've been able to bring other projects on stream really quickly, because we're quite small and we can move quite fast, we've now got 5.4 million for that project. And that's really enabling us to really bring our carbon footprint right down. Having a music college as a sort of, basis for fundraising is really fantastic, because you've got fantastic students and you can make sure that you can really make a difference to those students' lives. What we look for is somebody who will adapt their thinking, I guess, in many respects to ours. They'll understand us as a client, take time to understand what we're looking for and how we might be different from other clients. And I think Mills and Reeve and their predecessors have been fantastic in that. They know us really well. They know what options we'd be interested in, which options we probably wouldn't be interested in, which means that we don't waste any time or money on options that we probably wouldn't go down.
So it's great to work with people who are not from the arts world and get them galvanised and excited about the work that we're doing, in the same way that we'll start using terminology and understanding things that are outside of our remit.
With Catherine and her team particularly, when you're doing a project for the first time, a construction project for the first time, what you really need is people around you that have done that more than once and can advise you and can give you kind of calm and sensible and wise counsel